In 1835, President Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna finished off the last vestige of federalism. He abolished the Constitution of 1824. The shock waves from this action crashed into El Norte with a vengeance. Governor Agustin Viesca of Coahuila y Tejas understood that his opposition to Santa Anna would cost him. To protect his state and himself, he needed troops ready to fight government forces when they came. The sale of land to eager investors had raised a fair sum, and Viesca bought guns and ammunition. The Centralists moved to end these insurrections. Santa Anna demanded that all Mexican states disband their militias. He had Zacatecas in mind, but Coahuila y Tejas was clearly a problem as well. Santa Anna's allies created an opposition government in Saltillo to oppose Viesca and welcome the arrival of government forces. Coahuila y Tejas now had two capitals. On April 21, 1835, Viesca called on his militia to march on Saltillo and drive out those pretenders. The Centralist commander in the area, General Martin Perfecto de Cos, ordered his government troops to shut down the government in Monclova instead. His soldados scattered Viesca and his disorganized supporters. Meanwhile, El Caudillo gathered the National Army and marched on Zacatecas. On May 11, 1835, his Centralist soldados defeated the Federalist militia in battle. Then, his army spent several days on a rampage in the city, unleashing a flurry of looting and pillaging. Santa Anna was clearly sending a message. What of the militias north of the Rio Grande? One of the original Mexican requirements of all American colonists was that they had to be willing to fight Indians and to protect the settlements. Rangers had patrolled the region since 1823. Every man who could was expected to carry a rifle and respond in time of emergency. This requirement for militia service had never been popular among the American settlers. These frontier Republicans might make good fighters. Most knew how to shoot and had the weapons to do it, but they made poor soldiers. They resisted any attempts at discipline and often squabbled with each other. They did not appear much of a threat to Santa Anna's plans. The Americans did not take the prospects of actual fighting very seriously. There had been a cannon barrel in the village of Gonzales since 1832. People walked by it as it lay in the dirt, and most paid little attention to it. This town, the capital of Green DeWitt's colony, the closest American settlement to Bear, had suffered Indian raids. The Mexican government at that time had sent them this cannon barrel to help with the problem. The settlers never used it. A cannon made an impractical tool for fighting Indians, especially a cannon tube not mounted on a gun carriage. Now things had changed. The moves being made south of the Rio Grande suddenly made militia service among the American Tanos more appealing. Local authorities were confused. Did Santa Anna's new law forbidding militias apply to Tejas too? Yes. Jose Angel Navarro, the new jefe politico in Bear, tried to navigate these troubled waters. There were little more than 100 mounted soldiers in the region. This handful of soldados were far too few to patrol all Tejas, while also enforcing the law among such a scattered population. Militias, after all, had been useful to discourage Indian raids, which still occurred in the region. Now Navarro faced an additional complication. Governor Viesca called for men from north of the Rio Grande to come to his aid. Juan Seguin, Ben Milam, and John Cameron rode into Monclova with some of their friends and neighbors to reinforce the Federalists. Colonel Jose Maria Gonzales defected from the government army and joined the Federalist cause as well. Still, with only about 200 Coahuila militia and Tejano volunteers, Viesca remained outnumbered and outgunned. He needed to put some distance between him and the Centralists that were hunting for him. On May 25th, he declared Bexar as the new capital of Coahuila y Tejas and readied his command and his government to retreat across the Rio Grande.